And that brings us to our first question tonight. Is the India-US relationship in a state of drift? Do tell us what you think. Let me first throw that question to India's former ambassador to the United States, Mr. Ronen Sen. Mr. Sen, what's happening on this trip that we don't even see it make it to page one of some newspapers? Is it that the relationship has become a little boring for the media, or has it actually become boring?
No, I think it's got more publicity than...
it deserved?
No, it's got more publicity, like, say, than Chancellor Merkel's visit.
Well, that's pretty obvious.
You know, I mean, the focus there was on basically 70% of the focus was on her passage to India, really. I mean,
and her fight over Iran and so on.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, on the substance, it was not covered, though it's the most important European power. So I think it's got a fair amount of, publicity.
As much as it deserves.
Yes. I think we shouldn't become too obsessed with one specific relationship. I think the coverage has been balanced, and I think the visit has been a very good one.
Is it that we in the media also tend to obsess about one big issue, especially because you had the nuclear deal in recent years, and you don't have that kind of one big ticket item on the agenda? So are we always looking for that one big ticket thing to focus on?
You know, that one big ticket item, what we call that one big ticket item, that has not happened ever in international relations. What you had is, I'm not talking of the pros and cons of the nuclear deal. What I'm saying is that never in international history, not in the 20th, 21st, or any time in history, have you had a single country exemption from a regime. It's happened for the first time.
It's unique, and it's not going to happen again.
So it's something, you can't pull these rabbits out of the hat all the time.
Okay, well, let me just go to Pramit Pal Chaudhary, who's the foreign editor of the Hindustan Times. Pramit, why hasn't the story even made it to page one this time? I mean, is there a sense that, like I asked Mr. Ronen Sen, that the relationship has kind of, hit that patch where it's a little dull, nothing exciting?
Well, I mean, that's almost going to always be the case. You've had a simple example. Richard Nixon goes to China, he normalizes relations, huge big story. After that, Jimmy Carter spent almost 4 years actually implementing what Nixon did. That was actually the most difficult part of the diplomacy. Nobody pays any attention to it. And to some degree, that's exactly what's going to be happening now. We have to implement a lot of the nuclear deal in terms of liability. We have the dual-use technology issues. We have all of these very technical, difficult, bureaucratic things that have to be done. And yes, media can't get very excited about them. And I think that is a normal part of that the relationship right now.
Manish Tiwari, there is a sense, though, that since Pramit brought them up, that there are these niggling issues between the two countries, and they are serious issues. They're not minor issues. For example, she talked very tough on the nuclear liability issue yesterday, and India still has major concerns on the Nuclear Suppliers Group decision to restrict the transfer of sensitive technologies to non-NPT countries like India. Now, is there a sense that the Americans stabbed us in the back on that after, helping us get that waiver from the NSG? They were the ones who pushed for these restrictions at the NSG. So is there a sense of disappointment that they were the ones who pushed it?
Well, Nidhi, allow me to preface my comments with two submissions. The first being that the Big Bang Theory, which actually created the universe, happened really once. And after that, the universe settled down into a certain rhythm. And you started off by using the expression bored. Bored can also be a synonym for stable. So therefore, what you see today is an like unfolding relationship which has, well, you're right, like a good marriage. So therefore, what you see unfolding really, is a relationship which is kind of settling down into a groove. And I think that is really more important than expecting big bang announcements, every time there's a visit from Washington, D.C., or there is a visit to Washington, D.C. Insofar as the specific concerns you raised, yes, I don't think that we should have any hesitation in acknowledging that there is a divergence of views insofar as the Civil Nuclear Liability Act is concerned. The U.S. comes from a particular paradigm on it. The Indian Parliament came from another paradigm and enacted it into law. So, big democracies have to sort of, live with each other's democratic systems and perceptions.
NDTV's Cricket app, Android and iPhone. Fastest scorecard, special analysis, and much more. Download free. ndtv.com/apps.